So, what happened to Liara? They didn't explain why, and we still don't know. This was an opportunity for her to grow, and we couldn't learn about how she became this way. She says,
So that's why I must destroy the Shadow Broker. For what he did to my friend, and to you, and whatever he's doing with the Collectors.
the Theron thing is revenge, that's clear, but Shepard was a corpse. Was she pissed off about how others were treating a corpse as a commodity? Okay, I can see that as very insulting. She wants to get back at the Shadow Broker because of whatever deals he's doing with the Collectors. So she's seeking revenge on her friend, doesn't like it when they find the corpse of her dead friend she personally can't let go of for some reason, and because of a business deal they may be conducting with some other party and other possible activities with that party? Huh? Never mind she's one of the few who know the coming threat from the Reapers, which begs the question as to why a woman who can live to be 1,000 be hung up on petty revenge, without seeing the bigger galaxy-shattering picture. I did like the fact they showed off her Prothean researcher background, even if her PhD is written in English, but it was a nice touch to talk to us about Protheans again, from the expert, and how they may in fact play some secret role in the sequel. This should have been a predominant theme in the main game, though. More helmet kissing. After a certain point, we simply abandon our third squad member, even though our flying car can hold 4 people, all because Liara is going to join the squad. I guess they can just walk back to the Normandy or something. If the Spectre can Vanguard charge to any location, why can't I? Just make charge an area of an effect spell with ground as the target, and boom. If Shepard gets stuck, he can just feather fall to the ground like Samara or Liara. Then there's the long, drawn-out ship hull level. I know a lot of people really love the level design and the outside of the ship and all that beautiful-looking sky dome, but does it make any sense to be running around on the top of a ship in a dangerous atmosphere when we have scans of the vessel and a shuttle that just drops us off anywhere on it, when no one has detected us yet? All we learn from getting into the door is...
Okay, looking down was clearly a mistake. This ship is incredible.
The bad mostly stems from what they did to Liara in Mass Effect 2. When you're working with Mass Effect 2 as a base, you're on shaky ground if not completely incorporeal. We don't exactly know what happened to Liara, and damned am I if I have to read a comic book to figure that out. Although I'm told not even it does any exposition on the Liara character and her motives. For example, Liara could have said, "I couldn't let you go because I can't live without you." Then there's the appearing and disappearing magical Avenger assault rifle of Bitch Slap, which is paired up with everyone likes to whip out any old gun for any old scene. Also, if your third squad mate doesn't carry a handgun, they won't even appear in this cutscene. Very nice. And if your second squad mate also doesn't carry a handgun, they hold their rifle like one. Then there's the sudden realization that you'd have rather played the game with Liara as your informant and not Tim. And this is just a personal thing, but why can't we keep the Shadow Broker's Omni-Tool shield? That thing would be awesome. Gears of War 2 and Lost Planet 2 each have mobile shields. Why can't we? Another almost forgotten issue is whatever happened to the Shadow Broker agent you could have helped in Mass Effect side quest regarding Admiral Kahoku. Since we learned the Shadow Broker was trying to stop Saren, how come this wasn't carried over at all?
Suffice to say, I am an agent for the Shadow Broker.
Wasn't all this kind of important? Reminds me of another situation where yet another NPC dies. But now it's all completely irrelevant since Liara is the new Shadow Broker. Kinda makes you think the writers are just making this stuff up as they go along. Shepard is integral to this DLC, as evidenced by their ID in Liara's photograph changing, to give a clue to investigate her Prothean artifacts, where her last call was preserved. Although why Liara simply didn't contact or call Shepard immediately after is uncertain, as well it's possible Visir would eventually find that backup disk, but in the Mass Effect 2 universe, I'll take whatever I can find. Compare this to the protagonist integrity of Mass Effect 2's main plot.
team has recovered the remains of your Omega-4 relay probes.
The Shadow Broker sent probes through the Omega-4 relay and they returned. Oh my god! This completely undermines Cerberus, Tim's activities, and makes them look like idiots. Probing the Omega-4 relay? Who'd have thought of that? Certainly not Shepard and company, whose very mission was to go through the relay. We don't have time to probe the damn thing to make sure it's even safe. Yet, the Shadow Broker's probes not only make it back, without having an IFF installed on them, he was just doing it for the intel. It wasn't part of a critical mission, he was just checking it out. It's implied Wilson was working for the Shadow Broker. Oh my goodness! Whereas this should have been part of the main story, where we learn about Shepard coming back from the dead, we just get a little report about Legion, which happens to involve this little tidbit. That clarifies about, 1 of 100 of the questions we have regarding Shepard's resurrection, but it's better than nothing. And that was just one example. The dossiers provide so much backstory and insight into the characters, and it's just text on the screen. Text, BioWare. Not fancy cutscenes, not voice acting, romances, and entire shooting gallery levels, just simple text. Why am I having an Alpha Protocol flashback? Well, here's hoping the boys making the sequel played that game and know of the power that dossiers have. Constant talk and chatter between Shepard and Liara. They sound like two old buddies or an old married couple. This is evidenced by the driving scene and while waiting for the door to open. Perfect. Shepard gets a great foil from the Spectre Televasir. This is almost Saren 2.0. Why she had to die, I can't quite see the literary reason, but I really wish we got to talk to her more, which makes her death at our hands oh so painful. She pretty much slams the Cerberus railroading in our face. It's like she's making fun of Mass Effect 2 via Shepard's predicament. It's awesome. If Liara is here for self-referential comedy, Tel is here for self-referential story writing. She's in exactly the same social position Shepard is in. Her with the Shadow Broker and Shepard with Cerberus. For someone who understands and can relate to Shepard the most, it is a colossal loss to the narrative, because boy does Shepard need someone to relate to. Televasir is almost the best character in the Mass Effect universe for this reason, aside from when she did that whole Van Damme thing. If she was around for the whole game, Mass Effect 2 would have been an absolutely tolerable experience. But I digress. Sexuality. There's self-referencing Samara's loyalty mission, a reference to Joker about the mystery of Asari mating rituals, and Liara doing just that. Oh, and an entire hotel of strippers. Liara, Tella, and the Shadow Broker acknowledge some of the choices you've made. For Liara, it's dependent on whether you romanced her previously and who you're currently romancing, if anyone. For Tella, it's your status as a Spectre, whether one was a sole survivor on a Kuz in relationship to Cerberus, and a few other variations. And for the Shadow Broker, it's dependent on whether you passed the game already and who's in your squad to meet him. BioWare, this might not seem like much, but it is very, very important. Then there's supplementary bonus material. You get videos, dossiers, basically extended emails, and weird purchased missions that involve you potentially getting money, minerals, and upgrades. You get a nerfed squad power from Mass Effect 1, and you might just be more inclined to do planet scanning, I think. BioWare, no more planet scanning. And I cannot stress these two things enough. Liara provides more possible theories on Prothean plans for the universe, and an actual working, believable plot. This is a bridging DLC to Mass Effect 3. Thank goodness, because there's nothing to hold up what it's coming from. In fact, this is the best sequel to Mass Effect 1. So let's all believe this is what really happened.